Let me tell you about Mergent Online. This is probably the most robust business database we have. As you can tell, you could search by the SIC number, you can search for the NACIS number, you can look at United States or international, Dun& Bradstreet. There are all kinds of things that you can do in order to search for this. So I'm going to look for FedEx and see what kinds of information I can find in here. Once it comes up, I can see that it's FedEx Corporation. It's going to give me those codes, so I now know what the exchange code is. I know all of those kinds of things. I can click on the FedEx Corporation company name, and when I do, the first page gives me a huge amount of information. So I find out a little brief summary. I can see the pricing and how it's gone over a period of time, so I can look at it by week. I can look at how it's done over a year, which is very helpful when dealing with stocks. I can get information about company news. I can get corporate news, information about their financials, just a snapshot of that. I can also get their key executive officers. I had a student one time asking me to do something like that. He wanted to get the chief executive officers and a list of their salaries, how they were broken down by bonuses, those kinds of things. So this is a database that will allow you to do that. So we know that Fred Smith is the chairman, chief CEO for FedEx. We see his age and we see his salary. First thing students say is, I cannot believe a company that size, that's worldwide, would have an executive officer who would work only for $1 million. Now, to us, $1 million is a huge amount of money, but for that kind of position, we would expect it to be a lot higher. But if I click on his name, I learn a little bit more about him. Sometimes there's a picture available as well that I can look at, but I see his salary now broken down. So I have a base salary, but with all the bonuses, tax incentives, any of those kinds of extra things that go with it, he's making $16 million. So that's more in line with what we would expect for a chief executive officer. You can tell he took a little bit of a salary decrease since last year, still nice salary, but just so you're aware of that, you can go through and you can look at officers and directors and committees for a particular company that you are looking at. There are lots of reports that you can get to, and always notice that you have various levels of tabs. So we are using these dark blue tabs right now, but notice underneath it, I can get to annual reports, industry reports, all kinds of things. The merchant reports I've looked at. With that, I can go in and look at a full company report, and I get a little snapshot right here. I can look at financial details. It's going to update that. I can do that as a PDF or as Excel or is it Word. And if I go in and look at that kind of thing, this is a multiple page report that is going to give a huge amount of information about this company. So again, you can download these kinds of things. You can look at them together. You can look at those kinds of things. So here's my PDF. And it's going to give me all this information. This is a 77-page document. So I would look at them carefully before you send them to the printer, because that's a huge amount of printing, but all kinds of charts and graphs broken down by North American, international, those kinds of things, and just a huge amount of information. So if you're working on any kind of company history, this is a great place to go for that kind of information. You can look at their filings. All companies are required to do certain filings of taxes and reported income and those kinds of things. So you will find information under filings. You can look at their SEC filings and see what kinds of monies there are. Again, you can do a particular section if you want. You can do it by PDF, by Excel, by Word, all of those kinds of things as well. You can do a report builder, and you can go through and decide which reports you want to do, slide those over and generate that report, and again, do it in whatever kind of format you want to do and download those kinds of things. There is news that you can get to, so you can go in and see what's going on with this company, what kinds of things are happening throughout the world related to the company. I also saw competitors, so you can get to competitors while you're at it. We've done this this in other databases, but this will break them down and give you a snapshot of all the information related to the competitors as well. As always, you can download this into a spreadsheet. You can print it, all kinds of ways you could use it. Make sure that you remember as you're going through and finding this kind of information that you've got multiple levels. So you've got levels at the top, you have information here, you have your big blue tabs, but you also have incremental information underneath that. So I think you'll find plenty that you can do with this particular database, including going to their website and learning more about them from their own standpoint. So I hope you enjoy this. This is a great database to use.